Are we live? Hello. Oh my goodness, I have a completely new setup here. I went ahead and did the painting, my painting session earlier and filmed it, and hopefully it's gonna work. I hope so. So I've got these two lemons, as you can see up there in the little painting that turned out. Today I I just did my day today. Well, I got to get the chat up and running. I can't see it. Okay, day 8. Just sending that in, checking to, yep, it is working. Okay, so uh, the point today, what I did, because yesterday and the day before I had flustered days. This time I came in and did what I normally do. And I, I kind of, I'm going to talk my way through it. So I filmed it. We're going to watch it. I'm going to talk my way through it so that if anybody has any questions, then I can see the questions and answer you and kind of explain what I'm thinking and what I'm doing in this demo. I am doing for my usual way of putting in the darks and then you know, working from darks to light, basically putting in the local color and how I do that and my thoughts. I'm pretty sure I can remember most of it as I was painting. And it was nice. It felt comfortable to be back and do what I normally do. But I noticed a few things, and I noticed that I use much more paint than I normally do. And I noticed that I had more control over the alla prima feel today than I did yesterday and the days before that. So something's happening. All right, let's see if I can get this going. Well, oh, here. All right, well, this is the rule of thirds, and you can see I'm not measuring anything. I'm just putting it in, all right? You should do this, Blanca, uh, and it'll help you gauge where you should put your lemons or anything else that you might be painting. Anywhere on those crosshairs will be good. Okay, so I can move it forward. Now I'm measuring to get the angles of the lemon, and putting that in. So going through each plane of the lemon and getting the basic angle, and that will give me the basic shape of the lemon. Okay. And I do that with both lemons. So I'm just gonna move ahead. You can see um, I widened the lemon here because I had made it too small. And I was mentioning, nobody could hear me, but I was mentioning that I will do in the members area, in the YouTube members area. I'll do a members video on how to measure and getting the angles and stuff like that for you. Okay, so I'm just going to go in, put in just some shadow with burnt sienna. I'm just using burnt sienna to get the underpainting in, right? And I'm not doing a full underpainting, just the darks and the uh, the lights, which are on the wash that I did previously. Okay. All right. So this is pretty much where we were. Okay. I'm glad I could move it forward. I decided that I would put in that shadow area. Just to make it a little bit more interesting. And I'm also putting in the edge of the board as if it's sitting on a tabletop or something. And okay, let's see what we can do. Usually when I begin, I mix up the ultramarine blue with burnt sienna to create a black. It's a lovely black, a warm black, and you know, and using it for the cast shadow underneath the lemons, where the areas that it's not getting any light, and that's the main intention. I tend to mix uh, add more blue or add more burnt sienna, depending on where I am. I'm going to get just the basic shadow shape and then work with work with that later on. The other thing that I chose to do in this painting was just use one brush. So I used a larger brush, a cat tongue brush, kind of rounded on the top or at the edge of it. So it's not just cut straight across. And that was the brush that I chose to use. So I'm mixing the shadow color for the lemon. Today I'm going to go in and start right away with the lemons. Uh, and uh, you know, it's not what you have seen me do. I usually put in the background and then maybe the ground before I start in on the actual subjects of the paintings. So I'm darkening that. You can see my color mixtures. This is the great thing about a limited palette, is I have a warm and cool yellow. I have on the far left yellow ochre, titanium white, and the quinacridone rose, which is a cool red, ultramarine blue, and burnt sienna. And I don't need a warm red for this painting, like a cadmium red or something. It's unnecessary. Uh, And I don't need a warm blue, like a cerulean blue, a blue that's moving towards green. And the burnt sienna is usually just always on my palette. I think it's my favorite of all time. I think it's my favorite color. I love it. And it's so useful. So I'm going in with a muted green, and I'm the green is interesting because um, it's on this blue tabletop, and it's got the green wall behind it. So all the light that's reflecting is greenish or bluish in tone. And if you put the blue on the yellow in the lemons, of course it's greenish. So that's why I went with the shadow colors being kind of greenish. You have to look at what's going on. And I know in the beginning when you're painting, it's hard to see uh, the subtleties, but your vision will in fact open up. It will, and you will begin to notice more subtleties. And I have been painting for years, and every year I notice that I am seeing more and more, and areas that I was not able to decipher. Um, I'm learning how to see. It's becoming more clear to me the longer I paint. So it is a continual process. And I think that's why I love painting, because you never stop learning. And I like that. So I made this color. I was trying it with yellow ochre, adding the white and a little bit of yellow, and it was just too dull. Um, I didn't like it. It was the wrong tone. So I'm just putting it off to the side. It's a good idea when you're mixing a color and it doesn't work to just go ahead and put it to the side. Um, and when you're painting, also you can see I brought the brush in front of the lemon because you can see the paint on the brush and you can tell, does it need to be lighter? Does it need to be darker? More orangey, more green. Uh, you can compare directly, and that's a positive when you're painting still lifes. And that's why when you're learning how to paint as well, it's good to paint um, still lifes. It will teach you everything you need to know. As my mentor always says, if you can paint a lemon, you can paint anything. And it's true. If you can paint a lemon, you can paint anything, a mountain, a tree, a rock, an animal. You can paint anything. So I'm trying to be uh, um, uh, cleaner with my color mixing. So I'm keeping the darks on one side and the lights on the other side. And in the middle there are going to be kind of my my midtone values or uh, the more grayed down versions. I started out well. I think later on I started to get messy again with my palette, my color mixing. So what I want to let you know when you are using a limited palette like this one, uh, you can uh, pretty much mix all the colors and you won't get awful, horrible, muddy colors. Uh, of course, you really shouldn't mix more than three at the same time. But if you really look at the palette, there's a yellow, there's a red, and a blue. And the burnt sienna is, in fact, an orange, and orange is mixed from red and yellow. And the yellow ochre is also a yellow orange. And so it essentially, you're not really going to create any muddy colors. Um, Generally, when you're mixing colors, you want to just like mix the yellow. You can mix a warm yellow with a little bit of burnt sienna. And then you can add, if you need to tone it down, you can add a little like dab of blue. So that would be the third color. We are still filming, yes? Okay. So you can see I'm going with greens as a local color because these lemons, if you look at them, they just have a greenish tinge to them. Um, and just being true to that. I kept hitting the camera when I was painting. Sorry about that. We get to rock back and forth a little bit. Blanca, you can still hear me, right? Chris, are you still here? Okay. Getting into a little bit more of the shadow area, working with the planes. The planes that are up on the top area are reflecting light differently than what's happening on the sides. Okay, good. Thank you. What's happening on the sides and what's happening underneath the lemons, the part of the lemon that is closest to the ground. Getting the shadow established better in the lemons. And let's see what I'm doing here. I'm getting that little shadow in where the lemon curves in. I'm being very clean with my palette so far. Scraping off when I'm finished with one so that everything doesn't get all messed up. I'm trying to do that for you guys. It's hard to follow somebody who's got stuff all over their palette. Um, yeah, re-establishing the cast shadow. It's that darkest part right underneath. And like as you can see, you don't need to be exact and precise. I'm going to come in with the wall color in the back and the tabletop or this board, and through painting and adding the blues on there, we'll readjust those shadow shapes. So um, I like to just put in the major shapes and um, and then push and pull and work it through each time. I'm mixing um, I can't well, it's basically the board shape. I'm going to use pretty much the same thing in the back wall. When I was starting this, I was thinking, well, maybe I'll just do no wall in the back. Just have it come all the way out, just all the way to the back with no definition of anything. And then I kind of changed that a little bit. That just was way too dark. So I moved it down to that edge there that um, I tend to paint darker because I don't want the eye to go there. I want more interest up on the tabletop, so I'll make that lighter. Here I'm adding a little extra white because I know I'm going to go right over that dark spot that I just painted in, right? You can see I just cut right into the shadow and brought it into a better place. I'm thinking about it. What do I do? Do I create a wall or not? And here I remember just saying, nah, just paint it all the way back and don't don't do the wall thing. darkening it in the back just a little bit because it just didn't seem to feel like it was falling or going back into the distance. Just a little shadow area there in the corner, which in the photo reference is there. It just creates a little bit more interest. It's unnecessary. Okay, I'm adding the burnt sienna and ultramarine blue and a touch of the quinacridone to make it more purpley because the purpley will also give the sense to kind of send it towards the back um, and create, the a dark. And also to remember that we're painting lemons, so the complementary of yellow is a purple color, and it does work very, very well in a painting when you're painting lemons. And you can go back and look at many artists that painting lemons, and you'll find that much of their shadow uh, uh, is, in fact, in the purples. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're wondering what I'm doing, so I did kind of move more into like a lavender, or not a lavender, I guess indigo color, I guess would be it, in that background to just kind of separate it from the tabletop, which I'm going to keep blue. Just getting a little bit of difference here and there, darkening that edge. I'm not going to put in the whites and the other colors that are on there on that edge. It will completely take away from the lemons, and there's really no purpose for that area to have too much interest. cleaning off the brush and had a lot of buildup of paint on there. I'm going with a cooler lemon yellow, mixing the burnt sienna in there. So it's a cool yellow and a warm earth tone. And it will create the orangey color, but a cooler one. And I'm in the shadow area, so I'm basically keeping the yellows in that area on the cool side, and lemon yellow is a cool yellow. And I'm using the side of the brush for those more difficult areas. Washing the brush. I think every time I wash the brush, I hit the cord and it it's started swinging. Adding in some of the reflected light, or getting reflected light from the other lemon in this area where they're touching. I'm dabbling here, and that's not a good thing. It's better to just lay down a brushstroke rather than dabble with it. So on the light side of the lemons, most of my mixtures are going to be um, using the warm colors. So, I mean, I would choose more the cadmium yellow, which is a warmer yellow than the lemon yellow, while painting the light side of the lemons. And as the lemon turns from the light to the dark, it slowly, very subtly changes from like the bright yellow moving to a more dull down yellow until it goes into the shadow area. And it's just noticing the planes, the different planes that you're working with. cutting into the table a little bit to widen the the lemon shape. That's the area where you get some reflected light, it's reflecting the light that's hitting the table and bouncing up on that shadow side of the lemon. And it would be the light hitting off of the blue, and the blue would be coming to the lemon. Um, and if the lemon is, you know, a in the shadow, it's you know going to be it's going to have that dull bluish greenish um, reflected light on it, and that just helps. It just helps create the form. Hey Blanca, have you put in with the hashtag lemons on Instagram? There seems to be so many that I can't. I went in and tried to find you guys, but wasn't able to. There were a gazillion lemons there, and so I kind of stopped doing that. Um, well, I'll have to figure something out how to do that. And also, you have to know that what you guys are seeing here is slightly different than what I'm looking at because I'm standing to the side. I pretty much adjusted it to, was it just out a little bit too far. So it's one of the things, let's see, each day with this challenge, I've decided to watch first, take notes, create a notan of each painting, and in the evening you practice. Really? That's fantastic. That's fantastic. If you're doing that, honey, you're going to come out of this 30 days really uh, eh, having established some very basic foundational things that will you'll carry with you throughout your entire painting, and for as long as you're as long as you're painting. Have not posted due to issues with your cell phone. Yeah, well, I went to the hashtag lemon place, and it was just filled, just gazillions of lemons, and because I had put mine up there, but I couldn't find mine. Um, so I'm not sure. So you can see I'm kind of creating sort of kind of a background, but I didn't want to make it um too strong. Yes, the more you do the notans, definitely the better they get. the more you do them, the more you understand what you're coming for, what you're trying to do. And again, remember, it's your decision how much your notan is going to be showing the lights and how much they're going to be in the darks. And it just depends on the feel, what looks good to you, what you like. Just lightening up the tabletop to, you can see it's much lighter than the actual tabletop, but I didn't want it to be so dark. These are the things that you can do as an artist. You have the right to do that. You can change things to suit you the way so that the painting works better. There's that reflected light that I was talking about. My first experience with the oil paint was fantastic. Love the push and pull, and oh knows what could be and not be learning. Uh, yeah, yeah, exactly. Oil paint is fantastic with that push and pull feel, and that you have the opportunity to come back the next day and the day after and to keep working it, um, and it's just wonderful that way. Oil paints are very, very forgiving, especially for new artists. And if you ask me, they are the way to go all the way. Mixing up another cast shadow dark. Lightening it slightly and adding more blue. For the ends of the shadow, uh, because the tabletop is a bluish color. And so your shadows need to be in that area. I mean, I couldn't make it a brown color. That wouldn't work. Looking at it now, I think the shadows still just too dark. I'll see it tomorrow when I get up and there's good light in here. Blanca, there's a whole array of things to learn, and well, I love oil paints more than anything else. And the experience of learning how to paint uh, has been has been just wonderful. You have white but not titanium. What is the name of your white? So it took on like an orangey hue. It might be a warm white, but what is the name of it? I'm getting some stronger yellow and using a warmer yellow on that lemon. Hey, Linda. Yeah, I have not done the water mixable oils yet. Oh, you're not home. Okay. Okay. So, let me know. Okay. I'm curious about that. Perhaps there was some sienna in your brush that you were using. That would be the most likely thing, or it's maybe it's a not unbleached white. Does it come out of the tube white, or is it um, what about hard and soft edges? When do you apply them? Hard and soft edges at the very end. At the very end. For me, because you know, it just depends. And in the studies here that I'm doing for these 30 days, I'm not really too worried about the hard and soft edges, but the hard edge would be on that other lemon, not the one I'm painting right now. Uh, uh, all on the light side that's going against the well, you can kind of see I already have a hard edge there. So that would be one spot that I would have a hard edge. I would do another hard edge on the other lemon on the far right side as well, perhaps up at the top, uh, where the little nudgy thing coming out of the lemon is. I don't know what it's called. Oh, did you put the white on top of the burnt sienna or the sienna? If so, then you rubbed it in. Uh, um, so yeah, that would take care of it. That would be the reason. So, Linda, when I go in and do hard and soft edges, usually the soft edges are easy because they're the areas that, like the back sides of the lemon, areas that I don't want the eye to go. I don't want people to get caught there, will usually be my soft edge areas. And my hard edges, the sharp ones on working towards the oh boy, the dance of the composition. So, like I said, in those two areas, I would do a hard edge, like I said earlier. Um, uh, Maybe I wouldn't need a hard edge anywhere else. Um, as I mean, this is a still life, so there's not a lot of work to be done on that. I like I like I like keeping a little bit of these uh, representational works just slightly abstract. That's my personal preference. But I think in order to create a realistic looking painting, then you don't need to be you don't need to overpaint it and get everything exactly. You want the focus of the hard edges to be where you want the eye to rest. No, definitely not all whites are equal. Titanium white is a cool white. I'm curious, Blanca. I need you to tell me what it was. But most likely, when you laid on, if you put the white on top, you pressed the brush down, and it picked up whatever was underneath it. There, I hit the camera again. Oh boy. One of my favorite whites is flake white. I can't get flake white here, so I use the substitute from Schminke, the Schminke brand, Mussini. Um, oh, you're using zinc white. Okay. You should probably get a titanium white, and this is a really good thing to do. A titanium white, and you can mix like half and half on your palette, half of the zinc white and half of the titanium white, and you will have a very beautiful white to work with. I think Winsor Newton, if you go out and buy, it's mixing white, and that's basically what it is, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what it is. I wouldn't I shy away from zinc white unless it's mixed with titanium white. I like it very much when it's mixed with titanium white. I remember just some great color mixtures, and the white was not as opaque and it was not as blue. So it didn't cloud. Uh, Sometimes when titanium white can give it like a chalky look, and with a zinc white mixed in, it didn't do that as much. So it's a really nice white. Go get a titanium white, Blanca, um, and mix those two together. So almost finished, and just getting a little bit of the final touches. I'm pretty happy with this one. Even though, I could spend another hour on it, um, doing, the finer details and getting it just right and all of that. But I've basically given myself in these sessions just an hour to put it together because I am a slow painter. And this is helping me work faster and to be less specific. And again, just using one brush, uh, which is a challenge. Yeah, and it's a very versatile white. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, hey folks, can you see me? Let me go turn the light on. Oh no. Okay, well, it is what it is. Okay. So, you guys, that's basically what I got. I'm it's fine. It's a fine little study. But again, I'm painting the way that I know how to paint. So it comes out it was easy. Pardon me. Hi. So the things that I did here in this in today's challenge was one, I just used one brush. Um, it's this one here. This is the brush that I used. Um, if you measure it with my thumb, it's about half the size of my thumb. Um, and I just decided that I would just paint with this and nothing else. So I would use the sides of the brush, I'd use the tips, and of course the, entire brush. So that was part of the challenge. The other part of the challenge today was although I was going to do this the way I basically put things together, and I'm doing this for, I was thinking about you, Blanca, to help you understand how to create form, from painting from large masses, just putting in all the darks, all the shadows, um, and just getting a basic shape, right? And then you work it down, and pull it together. It's basically the way that I teach. It's what I do, and it works really well. It works really well. And it's a great way to start. It's a great way, especially if you're in the beginning, just getting your feet, learning how to stand up in this painting world and some of the basic things. So, you're dealing with the composition. So you put in that, the tic-tac-toe board on your canvas, and in one of those crosshairs, you're gonna have your focal point and your focal area, like your focal lemon, the lemon that you want everybody to look at, not the other one as much. And and then other things come into play as well. But then you put in the shadow area. You do everything like in a burnt sienna, right? You put the wash down on your canvas and then you draw everything in. You're just using burnt sienna so that you got your darks and your lights. So you're basically creating a note tan on the painting with just the burnt sienna. Not exactly, but sort of, right? And then beginning to work in, like, the cast shadow. If you get the cast shadow in, then everything sits down well. And then you begin to add the colors. Maybe you paint the actual subjects of the painting, in this case the lemons. Maybe you paint the background first, and then the ground, and then the lemons. Probably, if you're beginning, I would paint the lemons first, and then add um, the foreground and the background. I mean, all the other stuff. But whatever works for you. And keeping again using paint, which is another one of my challenges. And in the past 2 days, I've been using a lot of paint, more than I'm probably able to handle. But today, I found that I could use the paint, the thicker paint, and it was working, right? And again, I want to, do not use thick paint in the shadow areas. Um, not until you get really, really good at painting, then if you need to put thick paint in the shadows, go ahead and do it. But don't do it in the shadow areas because the more paint you lay on the canvas, oil paints, is layer upon layer upon layer upon layer, right? And the light will reflect off of it, and when you have thick layers in your shadows, it gets more reflected light. Like you can get an area of the shadow that just looks light, and it shouldn't be. And that's just because there's too much paint on in the shadow area. When you get really, really good, if you get up to the advanced level, you can pretty much do whatever you want, right? But for now, I would just be thin thin paint in the dark areas wherever you're having darks, and um, just that. You can have thick paint in the background, on a wall, or because it creates texture, and it can be nice if it's needed. But if it's not needed, don't do it. Not until you know more about what you're doing. So, yeah, that's about it. I'm pretty happy with that one. I didn't add the highlights. I guess I forgot to do that. But it's not like you can't tell um, what the highlight part of the lemon is. And you don't always have to have like a boom spark of a highlight, right? As long as there's the lightest part of the lemon. Um, and yeah, there is, I do have that. But it's not bad. It's not bad for an hour painting. And like I said, I'm a really slow painter. I'm slow. So this is also a challenge to get me moving faster, and whatever happens, happens, right? All right, you guys. Thanks for being here. And tomorrow, a new day, a new lemon. I think I might be I don't know. I'll try and do if I have time tomorrow. I may do this way again. I'm able to answer your questions and talk to you, um, and be more involved with you guys while I'm here. So I may paint like I did today, paint earlier when the light is good in here, and so that you can see it. If this works all right with you, I'll probably do this again tomorrow. Thank you, my dear. You guys, have a beautiful, beautiful day over there. Hopefully, the sun is shining and all good things are happening in your lives. Take care, you guys.